Hi, and welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
And it is June.
Yes.
Happy June.
So many things starting June 1st.
Well, that's today. You'll be seeing this on June 2nd, but happy June.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you. Welcome to our new subscribers. We've seen a little uptick, and we're very happy about that. So thanks for subscribing. Keep
tell your
coming
friends.
back. And tell your friends, yeah. We just talk about a lot of nonsense, but it's fun. It's fun. I'm going to declare, we didn't decide, but I'm going to declare that I'm going first because I only literally have one thing to talk about.
That's fine with me.
So I have been working on the pattern called Seltzer by Sharon Hartley. It's part of River Road Knits. And
So we've been jokingly called a dog sweater.
so, yeah. Okay. I do have a story, but about this because my cat Hobbs, you know, is the wool hunter, and he likes to come in the bathroom with me every morning. And while I'm in the bathroom, he climbs on my back, and sometimes I'm trapped, and I have to call my husband to come rescue me because he literally sits on my back, and if I move, he scratches. You know, he's like, "Oh wait, I'm falling," and
It needs traction.
yeah, my back is full of scratches. So the other day, my knitting bag was on my arm, next to my armchair, and I thought it was kind of folded over. I thought it was safe. I didn't think about it, and I went to the bathroom. He tried to follow me in, and I scooched him out with my foot, and I went to the bathroom in peace. And I came out, and I did hear some rustling, and I'm like, I came out, and this was on the floor, and at the time I had the back yarn was still attached, and the front yarn was the working yarn, and it was on the floor, and the back yarn was, fortunately I was done with the back panel. Well, Hobbs decided I was done with the back panel. I kept the yarn on there in case I wanted to add some more rows later, but it had reached the right length. And Hobbs decided I was done and bit the yarn with about this much left, so I was able to weave it in. And in case you're all worried, I don't believe he eats any yarn. I've never seen him trying to swallow yarn. He just likes to bite it. And this was on the floor. And shred it.
And tangle it.
Yes. And tangle it up. And yeah. But he did bite this one, and it's not long enough. It's going to be difficult to weave it in because it's 2 inches long. That's my starting cast on. And thank you, Hobbs. But I was able, fortunately he didn't bite the working yarn, and see that's the one he bit, and I wove it in. I just left it a little tail. But anyway, so this is the Seltzer. This is the front. It goes here like this and goes down so both shoulders are bare, and that's the front. This is one of the joining yarns here. Sorry. That's the front. And this is the back. And I just this morning, part of why I was late coming, I just this morning joined the back to the front and am going now in the round. So that was my accomplishment for the week. So this is, I've been just basically knitting exclusively on this. It's nice, it's going quickly because it's worsted weight yarn in a Christmas red. The girl wanted solid red, so that's what she's getting for her summer tank. It's wool, which part of me wanted to make it out of cotton, but I couldn't find a cotton yarn that she liked there in Boston, and she really liked the solid red. She said she didn't mind it was in wool. Wool is very breathable, even though it does keep you warm. But I think she'll like it, especially like she's going to be in California. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to get this done before she goes to California, but you know, in Boston, it can get chilly still in the summer, and so anyway, she'll wear it, and she likes to perform with no sleeves. So even in the winter, she can wear this and, you know, and perform in it. So this is my break from her cardigan, her very intense Fair Isle knit cardigan, the brown and brown one. So this is my brain needs a break project.
From all the
Anyway, that's literally all I've done. Literally all I've done.
Can I go second?
You can go second.
Yes,
Okay.
go ahead, because I'm in the middle of putting threads.
Yeah, I'm putting thread right now too. But so as Beth said at the beginning, a lot of things, and there has been much discussion in our home about what the heck the cross stitch camp projects are supposed to be, and B, what we're going to do for them. And I had to watch the video many times.
The cross stitch camp video?
Yeah.
Yes, to understand what the challenge was. I knew it was color. I knew it had something to do with taking a single color piece. And then what? And what is the difference between the two? I finally figured it out. And the first one is to take a single color piece and add 1 or 2 pops of color in it. The second one for July is take a multicolor piece and change out at least 2 colors.
Yeah.
So I have to
do
show
that
you
every day.
Yeah, I have to show you something amusing because of that. This is one of my WIP-GO calls for July, Underwater World. Please take a look at the colors. You cannot see them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I would be further
They're
along.
all like pale and...
I would be much further along in this if I had if I hadn't hated those colors and kept trying to put them on something. Look at the colors now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I changed quite a bit more than 2 colors.
But you're not allowed to use an existing one, right?
Right.
No.
It has to be a new start.
No, but I'll be working on this in in June anyway, so. But I wanted this fabric, which is DMC malachite. By the way, malachites aren't this color. Malachite is a much darker green. But I wanted this fabric because to me it looked very oceany. And I kept trying to use the colors that were called for and they just wouldn't show up. I tried them. I must have restarted that
I don't remember.
like 10 times. And, I would be much further along. Anyway, I finally chose, I bought some single color pieces, a single color piece, because I don't gravitate toward single color pieces. As you can tell from my changing on that, I like color. But I saw, and I'm going to have a picture here because I didn't print that, of a group of 6 pieces by Lena Ova. Is that on the pattern anywhere? No. What is the deal? I even commented about that. I said, I really like these patterns, but none of them have the designer's name on it. And I want to say the name of the designer.
Yeah.
Anyway, I chose Seahorse.
It's cute.
But there is also, I had a hard time deciding, Sea Turtle. We all know how much I love sea turtles. There is also, this one's upside down, Fish.
Creative names.
Yeah. There is also,
Those aren't fish, those are dolphins.
This is
a dolphin.
No, but those on the top look like dolphins. And the
No,
fish.
they could be any fish. Dolphin. There is also crab. Now, Helen D did a crab pattern that called for red thread for the crab. I think it was her. That said, a red crab is a dead crab, so I call this pattern Dead Crab. But all of us think of crabs as being red, but they're not. They're kind of whitish.
You could do a blue crab.
Yeah.
I could. And then starfish. Now, some of these borders I don't mind. Most of them I dislike. So I may or may not do the border. So I started on this today, and I've been dying to start on it.
Oh yeah, because today's June 1st.
I did a center start because I want to decide if I want to do the border. And as it starts coming together, I'll decide if I want just that single line that's on the inside, which all of them have. Well, one of them doesn't. But I don't mind this border too much. But the one with the chains, I don't like it. So I'm not entirely sure about that one. And then I did a lot more work on Corgi and Snow by Maria Brodko, Cute Patterns by Maria. This is a free pattern that I got. She posted, free pattern. I went and got it. I don't know where it is on her Facebook page anymore. Look how far I've gotten.
Cute.
That's cute.
I'm already starting to put in the Corgi color on the bottom.
Aww.
So after this, the white, and then
Is there
a lot of backstitch.
Is there a stitched border, or is it's just the snowflakes?
The snowflakes. There's a blue down
Oh,
here.
shadow.
There's blue here. I was looking at the list of colors. I was like, blue? Where's the blue? Oh, I had to really examine the pattern. Oh, that's where it is. And I could not start this. Be happy.
Let me see.
The gnomes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This is stitching up very fast. I didn't cut this piece of fabric down. This is how far I've gotten, which is pretty decently far,
Oh yeah.
considering that I haven't worked on it very much.
Do you normally do like a corner start, left corner start?
I normally do a left corner start. If that or a center start. If the corner doesn't have something I can count down to easily, I do a center start. And then I did some more work on this. Are we surprised that I haven't finished my WIP-GO stuff? No. Was the challenge met? Yes. Did I finish anything? No. Because I also worked on Botanical Bee.
Oh, you love that.
Yeah.
And I started on a wing here.
Are you putting in shiny stuff on the wings?
I will, but I'm going to have to put it in on top. I tried doing it at the same time and it was too clunky, so I'm going to put it just one strand on top. Because I want it to be shiny. I don't want it to be
Lumpy.
lumpy. Yeah. And then I did a tiny bit on Blueberry hands-on design. I just added some more of the light green in here and started putting in the branches in here.
Oh, that's nice.
It's easier to
Green,
see up
yeah.
close. I really like this pattern. I want to finish it. I really hate working on it.
With the blueberries? Yeah. Why do you hate working on it?
A combination of the fabric I chose, which is the same one as the strawberries, but the strawberries showed up better, the colors, except for the white. And this one jumps around a lot more. So it's harder to, I don't want to make a counting mistake and have to go back. So,
yeah.
so I can't just continue with one color without having to count a
Yeah.
lot. Count
It's
a
very
lot.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah, especially for me. And I continued to do a little bit of work on Goodness and Mercy. This one was also a
Oh,
summer
that's the
start.
one that.
Can you see it? No, but there is there is writing there. I promise you can see it on the picture. But I'm looking here at the video going, yeah, that doesn't show up at all. I've gotten the word good in. But now I may start on the bird.
This is the one you want to make into a quail.
Yeah. As I've been working on it, I've been looking at it going, how can I fit that in there? But I still want to do it. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about my WIP-GO projects. One of my WIP-GO projects was the center one, which is Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts 2023 Temperature SAL.
This is what you worked on for May? Or
May, the
Okay,
middle one in
yeah.
May. I didn't do a lot more work on it from the last time you saw it. I remember I said I found working on the blueberry tedious because of the, yeah. So this flowers down here are going to be beautiful. They're going to be gorgeous, you know, but there's a couple of stitches of one color and a couple of stitches of another color, and then you have to count over to where that color is used again.
Yeah.
And
Your favorite.
eventually it'll look beautiful. But I either have to change colors constantly or count. And I'm going to have to change colors constantly. So I took the border color and went down some more on the border over here to give myself a break from that. But I also put in, now on the picture, these flowers over here, they're buds actually, they look yellow in the picture, but they call for, I have the called for color here. I double checked it. It's like green. See?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to do it in the way it's charted. I'm not going to worry about it because I liked it in the picture. I'll figure it out. So that was the middle one. And then I would have gotten a lot more done on that, except I kept working on this one, which is DMC's Turtle, like the other one, you know, Turtle. Now, the other one in my thread stash, I just called it C patterns or something like that because I was not going to list 6 patterns and all the color in it is black.
Yeah.
You know, because I wasn't sure what colors I was going to use. So now I'll go in and put the colors in. So I couldn't put it down. I kept working on it. There's more of this color, of this blue color fin over here. And this fin has some more of a lighter color in it, but I really like it. I really like the way it's coming out. And the problem is that Kryneck is so hard to work with that it does take you more time. But man, the results are, they put me in a happy place. Because this thing, I don't know if the picture is going to show it, but it's truly sparkly.
It's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is that I kind of want to put a bead on the eye. It kind of fades back a little bit.
What is it like?
It's this
Is
color.
it?
Yeah, it doesn't, you can't really see it. Anyway, that was that. What? And now, here's another of my WIP-GO projects for this month. And
Last month, because now it's officially a different month.
mind your own business. So, this is the Chronicles of Narnia Stitch and Book Club, which also is Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. In between those blue lines, it's going to say Pensivi. There's quite a bit of back stitching in this middle section, and I have to flip back and forth between on my Pattern Keeper. It does not show the back stitching, so I have to switch back and forth, but you know, I'll eventually do it. I'm really happy with the progress I've made, even though I'm not anywhere close to being done with it. It's quite a bit further than it was. So there's that. And then for June, oh, I already showed you. I was like, where is it? I brought it over here. Underwater World is one of my June
oh yeah,
WIP-GO projects. The other one was once a cross-stitch camp piece, which I didn't finish. This is Tiny Modernist Phoenix Biscornu. I did it as August of last year because I'd never done a Biscornu before. Beth has done several. And let me tell you, I probably will not again. Anytime I have a pattern that goes like this, like this, like this, you know, rotates around something, I have trouble with that because part of me wants to flip the fabric and do it again, and of course then the stitches would be going the wrong way. So I ran into that on, I don't know, one of my WIP-GO projects, and I was just like, you know, last year or something, I was just like, I had to redo it several times because, you know, I'm going around, oh wait a minute, that's not right.
Yeah, you have to like somehow mark the top so you don't I've done that, like accidentally turned it and realized,
well,
like,
on this one,
no.
it doesn't really matter, you know, which one of these guys is the top because
yeah,
they're all exactly the same, but sometimes
for
it
your
matters.
stitches.
Yeah, sometimes it matters. So I have to make sure my stitches are all going the right way. And yeah, that's okay. It's a thing, all right? Does it really matter in the long run? Probably not. The color's there. But yeah, I'm looking at this going, even now I'm going, wait a minute. Which way is the right way? But I'll figure it out when I start on it. So I got close. I have to finish this last little phoenix here. There's quite a bit of back stitching. And the back is, you'll see it in the picture, but it's just like a phoenix egg in the corners with some flowers or something. I don't know. The back is not as much stitching. That's not to say that I'll be able to get it finished. Because we saw my stack of stuff, right? And lastly, let's talk temperature.
Oh, yeah.
This is Stitch and Mommy's temperature turtles.
The turtles of consternation.
These are going to be a lot of red turtles.
Yeah.
It was
Hot.
106 at the temperatures that I get, but others are saying 107 here yesterday. It was like cool, kind of warm, cool, really hot. Yeah, and I went to get in the pool yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, And that heat does a number on many things. And if you recall, last summer it was pretty darn hot last summer, all summer. And the skimmer that I use, the plastic was breaking down. When I get in, I'm not going to go use that big old long thing, and it hurts my back. And I can do that from outside the pool, yeah, but that's what I pay a pool guy for. And so if I'm going to go swimming, I use a smaller one that I can hold in my hand and just do it as I'm in the pool. And I tried to do it yesterday, and I'm like, okay, this is a piece of trash now. I have to go buy a new one.
No, the plastic just doesn't survive.
It doesn't. And if you don't protect your dash in the car, it'll crack, by putting a sunshade on, which, by the way, mine doesn't have one on right now.
Neither does mine.
No, yeah, but you can't touch the steering wheel, so.
You can't touch the steering wheel even so, but maybe in our minds it's a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bad thing is the branding that the seatbelt gives you.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a red turtle. So one of these reds is everything that is over 100. And the other one is, the last one is the one that was as hot as it was yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, it's not even really hot here. We haven't switched over to the, man, it's hot now, where you always put the shade on your car. You always, be careful about what you touch and when.
Pretty soon it's time to plan your trips. Like, well, I can't leave my iPad in the car for 5 minutes while I go do this, so I'm going to have to do that, last, or I don't,
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and a lot of times, if you have children, you've got to throw something over the car seat because you will give your child third-degree burns trying to put them in a car seat that's been sitting in the sun.
Right.
All those buckles and stuff, yeah, they get really hot.
Yeah,
So,
and if you walk your dog during the day, the dog has to wear like booties or
Little
something.
shoes, yeah.
yeah, and you have to remember that if you walk barefoot out on the pavement and it hurts your feet, do not make your dog do it.
Yeah.
But we have a cool deck, so I don't worry as much about that at the beginning of the summer or the end of the summer. But even that cool deck can burn your feet when it gets a certain temperature. And if those of you who don't know, it's a different substance that's they use to pave the deck that doesn't get as hot as concrete
Quite.
as quickly.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's me.
Your turn, Beth.
My last WIP-GO call for May was this my own design Come Thou Fount.
Excuse me, Beth. I'm so sorry. I forgot to tell you the colors that I chose.
Oh, for
For the
for June.
June. They're charted in black, even though the picture was blue. Okay, and I am using Gentle Art Island Blue. I'm using a DMC.
A variegated DMC.
A variegated DMC. This is 4120. A variegated DMC. This is 4030. And Weeks Dye Works Union Blue. I can't hold all of them. Sorry. Anyway, that's what I chose. Sorry.
Okay.
Carry on.
Ooh, sorry. Tangling up on this thread where I have my fingers. So, when I had started this, whenever I started it, I guess maybe last year or whatever it was, I had only done like half of the little fountain part water. I think this half. Yeah, because I started in the corner and done this half, and I gotten not quite to the fountain. So this one line of water was all I had. But yeah, I talked about this last week, how I was looking for the thread, and it turned out not to be the thread. Yeah. So so as of last Saturday, I had gotten down to the music, and I had to redo that because I didn't like the way it looked and blah blah blah. So anyway, so I was hoping to finish this one section, and I could have kept working on it, but I kind of didn't want to. So, but I did get all the way down to the bottom of the first section. Let me see, get a better grip on this. And I did all the words and everything. So I almost finished this first upper section, but not quite. So there it is. So that was the, but I did meet my goal. The Sunday was the seven days. So I did that. So that was the end of May, and then I had the last week of May. Put this over here. To do whatever I wanted to do. And what I really wanted to do was this bunny in my garden. My needle winders are sticking together. Bunny in my garden. Last week I had finished the globe part, and I just had the little base to go. Our ghost is coming in
and out of
is
the door.
opening the door, yeah. So I just did this base, and I finished it. So I have a finish. Bunny in my garden.
That is so cute.
It is adorable.
So I finished this like Monday or Tuesday or so. Oh no. This I finished on Wednesday, I think, because I was getting this in the wrong order. Because one of my WIP-GO secondary charts, as I call them, was this Prairie Schooler Starry Night. This is the one that I had done most about maybe half of. The first one with Mary and Joseph and the donkey and the baby, Bethlehem. And that was the one I had started on 22 count Hardinger, and I kind of didn't like the way it looked, and it was very, very tiny. And so I had chosen another fabric to do with all the others on, and I'll redo this number one, as I'm calling it. I'm only calling it number one because it's the first one in the written printed patterns in this little booklet. So I started on number 2, which is the donkey and the cow and the manger, and baby Jesus in the manger, this one here. And I finished it. I started it on Monday, and finished it Tuesday.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday,
So-
Monday, Tuesday, Monday.
I was trying to remember what order I did it in. But so I did it's 310. There's a darker blue here. You can't see it really on camera, but you can see it in person, for the baby's blanket. And then and the pattern calls for Krynic or DMC for the gold color, but I used Etoile for the star and for the baby's halo, and for the cow's bell. And then the only other place that you use the 3820 I did for the donkey's bridle and the cow's thing around his neck. And on the manger, there is what I suppose is straw in the manger that the baby's lying on, and in the instructions and in the picture, it's black. And I thought, well, I'm going to use 3820 to be the straw, you know, because straw is yellow, right? And it didn't show up. So I redid it in black. So there's the only back stitching is the bridle and the thing around the cow's neck, the rope, whatever, and then the baby's face, head, and the straw. So that's in black. The baby and the straw in black. But anyway, so there's one of my finish. And then the other one was the bunny in the garden that I did after that. And then, so I wanted to finish the May Rabbit that I did way back at the beginning of the month because it was almost done. And I'm, trying to crank these out because I've just done the first 4. I did April last month of April. I finished it. And so I wanted to go ahead and finish this so I would have May done. And so I did it late last night. I finished May. So, and it really came out very pretty. This is 32 count Murano Carré. Back when Hobby Lobby used to carry all these wonderful colors. So May is on here. And I was hoping, I thought, well, maybe if I finish May early enough, I'll have time to do November, which is also on this fabric. But yeah, no. I wasted a lot of time playing Candy Crush and digging, so I didn't do as much stitching as I could have. So I was sitting there going, oh, I guess I haven't stitched it all today. I guess I better do it. So yeah, but I was able to finish May. So, yay. Now I have to finish November because it's on that same fabric. Okay, so then my other WIP-GO now for June was I had in one square I had these 2 patterns because they're both very small. Mouse's Lucky Day and Mouse's Beach Outing. And if you recall, for December, I guess it was Winter Cross Stitch Camp that I did Mouse's Christmas decorating. I can't remember what I think this was for Winter Cross Stitch Camp because I did it because it was on my WIP-GO board, but I did it for some other reason. So I think it was Winter Camp, but I don't remember what the challenge was, but I finished it for that. So this was supposed to be my secondary chart, I think, because I had not yet started this one. But it's already done. So I don't think, because I'm doing June cross stitch camp, I don't think I'm going to do a secondary chart for this month. And also because this, for WIP-GO, this square has these 2 designs on it. So the beach outing, I just started, I think, I don't know, Mania or something, I may have started it. But so I just have the beach hut and part of the mouse's dress. And the other one is Mouse's Lucky Day. So there's the mouse's dress. And right now I'm working on the apron, which is white. And there's a few symbols. There's a shoe horse. What do they call? Horseshoe. There's a 4-leaf clover, and
there's such a thing as a shoe horse, but it doesn't look like that.
shoe horn. There's a shoe horn.
Oh yeah.
There's a horse shoe.
There's no such thing as a shoe horse.
Horseshoe.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's a horseshoe.
I was completely thinking about
a shoe horn.
Everything else, yeah.
Anyway, there's a pot of gold and stuff like that. Just lucky things on this. So right now I'm working on the apron. And yeah, so there's this one. And then cross stitch camp. So I have some decisions and some dilemmas. So I went back and forth a million times about what to do for the June challenge. And so I had talked about this last time, I think, about not having this one with the other one, Antique Bunnies and Baskets and Antique Cats and Crowns. And this is by, oh, these mouses things are Tiny Modernist. This Antique Cats and Crowns is the other chart that I have along with Baskets and Bunnies. Antique Baskets and Bunnies. These are by Shakespeare Peddler. And she did a whole bunch of these little kind of like, you know, pillow finishes. And they're all like, you know, this one is birds and cages. This is scissors and threads. This is teacups and spoons, looks like. And this is keys and locks. So anyway, yeah. But I like this one. It says Cats and Crowns. But these are all, I don't know if they're all in rarish colors like that, but they're, I guess maybe to look antique, they're like browns. And yeah, it doesn't speak to me. So the changes I'm going to make are, I think I'm doing the cats in black mostly. There's a mouse there that I might do a different color. And then the word cats, I think, will probably maybe be a different color.
Are you supposed to change the whole thing, like everything in the chart,
No.
or just one?
No, just at least one color, I guess. But I'm going to do black because I don't want to do brown cats. Mm-hmm. And then the crowns I'm going to do in
Are you
Etoile.
against brown cats?
I don't want a brown cat. I have a black cat and a white cat. Le Chat Noir and Le Besset Blanc.
You could do the word cat in that etoile too, or a different etoile.
Yeah. So the crowns I'm going to make a gold etoile because they're crowns, and then the cats I'm going to make black. So I haven't gotten the threads yet because
She just decided while we were sitting here.
And so I think I'm going to do it on this. This is 28 count linen. Just a nice neutral color. Because that was another thing. I was like going back and forth about all the different fabrics I could use, blah, 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 that I have. And I thought, well, I could dye fabric. And I'm just being too lazy to do that. So, and then for July, I finally settled actually on this. This is a Carrots Away by Whitley Quimby of Sugar Maple Designs. And this was in an issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. And I like this design so much. I was looking through the magazine because I guess last week I think I talked about one of my other WIP-GO pulls for this month is Spring Hair Etching that by Turner, Cecilia Turner, and I can't think of her design. Heart and Hand. But anyway, so I was looking because that pattern is in the spring 2024, I guess. No. Anyway, this is in spring 2024. So I was looking through the magazines because and so I decided to do this for July, which is, changing several colors. And so Eve and I were talking about this and some of the colors I could change out. So, because for the most part, I like it, the idea that it is. And the colorful colors are something called Southern Fried Floss and Classic Colorworks. And there's a DMC alternative. But so anyway, I'm going to change. I like the general colors, but I'm going to change some of the specifics, like the canopy and the on this airplane.
So Naomi, look at the airplane. Look at the picture of the airplane. Can you tell that that's two different threads?
This orange.
Yeah, and it's a carrot.
Yeah, but it looks like a variegated.
It looks like a variegated floss, but it's actually two different.
No, I see two different colors. That's stripy.
Yeah.
So is this one, and that's one color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So because I assumed this big carrot this carrot airplane that he's flying, I assumed it was a variegated thread because it looks like a lot of these carrot color variegated threads look that way, right? They have a little certain striping in them. As a matter of fact, a pattern that I worked on before, the one in Spring Scamper, the one with a carrot mobile in there. When I started it a certain way, and you could see the variegation was like going a certain way, and I changed it because, you know, when you pull a carrot out of the ground, a carrot has, you know, different colors, you know, on the carrot going from the top to the tip.
Not lengthwise.
Yeah, not lengthwise, right? And so you could see that change, you know, that I made, you know, in the variegations on that carrot mobile. And so I thought that this carrot that the bunny's flying was the same kind of deal. This variegated, you know, orange color. Excuse me, 1 second, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. Okay. But in fact, the stripes on this carrot mobile are a different color. So I think that I'm going to change that, deepen that color or something like that, so it shows up better. And then the canopy and the tail fins of this airplane are the same color, and I'll probably, you know, change out some of that or something like that. So anyway, and also the Southern fried floss that it's called for, I'll probably use, you know, Classic Colorworks or something like that. So anyway, and this I will probably do on this, which is a fabric that I dyed myself. This is 28 count Lugana that I dyed myself, and I used a piece of it for something else. So what's left is a scrap. But Eve and I were checking her cross stitch calculator and her handy ruler, and it's enough fabric. And the other one I want to do is for August is I decided on this Stacy Nash. It's Do Something New to You. I've never done a Stacy Nash design, and this is 3 little designs. The whale is the largest one, and it's 145 by 112. It's not really that big. And there's a ship and a compass, and I'm going to do the ship, which is this little one down here. And I have not decided on a fabric for that yet, but I have lots and lots of fabric. Yeah. So this is, but I'm going to have to do the ones I'm considering. I'm going to have to do a floss toss to make sure everything shows up. These are all Weeks Dye Works colors, and I have most of them. So yeah. So that's me.
Well, how have you guys been?
Pretty good. I had
a short work week, thanks to the holiday, but
I have a little bit of a story. The other day, yesterday,
yes,
I was opening a package of hot dogs, and I was using a sharp knife,
and you sliced it in your finger.
I slit my finger, and at first I thought, well, I guess I didn't really, because I thought, you know, I hit it with the knife,
yeah,
and I felt, you know, a little sting, but when I looked at my finger, I couldn't see anything, and so I thought, well, I guess I didn't really actually cut it. I just, you know, touched it with
Those
the knife.
Those are the worst kind of cuts that are dry.
Yeah, and then
they don't really ever heal.
And then later on, I thought, gosh, my finger hurts, and I looked, and I could see it looks like a little paper cut, basically.
Yeah.
But then like I guess I put lotion on my hands, and maybe that's, you know.
Ouch.
And so one end of it is, I guess, a little deeper, and so now you can see like red there.
Yeah.
And fortunately, it's not my stitching finger.
I was gonna say.
So it just it hurts. It's a distraction.
So you were saying, Naomi?
Oh no, I just had a short week at work, but everyone's, oh, how's your weekend? Like, it was not great because my son. So okay, one of the big things changed in my life is we got a really nice Nautilus exercise bike. And we put it together. We got it on Sunday and put it together. And then Oh yeah, Mark had his birthday dinner Sunday night,
yeah.
which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was good. Rachel made a really good, yummy dinner, and then
Yeah.
when we got back, we had put the thing together before we left for the dinner, and so we got back, we were all trying it and everything, and I was like, "Hey, Eli, you want to try it?" And just with his, he's got weakness on one side, and he got on it, and I don't know, it was the height, the angle, the seat, something. And he felt something pop in his hip, and he was in excruciating pain. This was near midnight, and we were like, what do we do? What do we
Because,
do?
of course, families do things together at midnight.
So, so we wound up at the ER. And Mark said, you're going to be there till 4 in the morning. And sure enough, when we went out, when I went out to get the car, the sun was coming up. It was like 5:30 in the morning. It was horrible. So Monday was pretty much a loss. Our Memorial Day, we didn't do anything. And then, yes, but I have really enjoyed that bike. Like, I've been on it every single night. Last night I did 40 minutes. It's really nice. So it gives me that same kind of level of activity that I had, like, because every time I'm in Boston, like, my blood sugars are great because I'm literally having to walk everywhere, and I'm like, this means that I am way too stationary in Phoenix. So, but no, it's been really good. I really am liking it now, and so that's been fun. I mean, Eli's fine. His hip wasn't dislocated or anything, but we had to go get it checked out. But yeah,
It's always best to check.
But it's been weird because, like, so I told you, like, last week, my 2 colleagues were gone all week. And they came back finally. We were all, the whole complement was there on Wednesday and Thursday, I guess. And then Friday we had a marketing retreat, which was a lot of fun. We went to, one of our board members has a beautiful, he's in furniture, like office furniture. And he has this beautiful showroom, and as part of the showroom he's got several conference rooms, and so he let us use one of them, and we spent the whole day there and just planned out the new season and planned out the year, and it was a lot of fun, and ate really good food from a place called Cava. I didn't understand it's national, because Hannah's like, I've always meant to try Cava. So I know there's one in Boston, and there's just a few here, Mediterranean, like bowls and pita wraps, and it's so good. I had one, and it had something called white rice, which I guess is like a high protein rice, so I was able to have it. It was so good. I'm still thinking about that bowl, and I'm like, how far away is the one in Tempe? Yeah, that's the one close enough to us. I think it's near the university.
Okay, so I just started this cross stitch camp piece, right? And I chose these variegated threads because I thought, seashells are kind of variegated.
Yeah.
You know, they're not one color necessarily.
It's pretty.
Look the way it's coming out.
That's really pretty.
Oh, yeah.
It's really nice. It looks spirally.
Well, yeah, I started at the tail end on purpose so that the color would,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
And I'm having to go up and down to make that spirally look.
That's cool.
I read about some woman who went to the beach with her kids, and the kids, I think it was in California somewhere, I don't know, but the kids were collecting what they thought were seashells, and they were like clams, clam seashells, and it turns out they were live clams.
Aww.
And the beach.
How could they not tell the difference between a live clam that
I
is
don't know.
closed and a clam shell, which is like half?
I don't know, but because they were kids, they don't know,
I see.
And so I guess the mom was just like,
poor
enjoying
clams.
herself.
Oh.
So they had collected all these clams, and the beach, the patrol, whatever, charged the mother like $80,000, something horrible. And I think they were able to negotiate it down.
Oh my gosh.
But still, it was a big chunk of money.
Did they kill all the clams?
Yeah, because they didn't know. They just
They were
pulled all
just
these
out of the
clams out of the
water.
water. Yeah. And so yeah, I mean out of the sand or whatever, the shore.
Oh no.
So yeah.
And that's another reason why you should watch your children around water.
Maybe she didn't even know what they were doing.
Yeah, but okay. On my own channel, I talked about this. Watch your kids around water. Any water.
Yeah.
All water.
Yeah.
Watch your kids around water. Yeah. In Phoenix here, we have had a child drowning almost every day, sometimes more than one. Mm-hmm. One family lost a set of twins.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. And it's a completely and utterly preventable accident.
Yeah.
I am not blaming the parents. I'm not saying the parents were negligent. I am just saying that this is a preventable accident.
Yeah.
Because remember, here there's a lot of places, but not necessarily everywhere, where very, very young children can be taught how to get themselves out of water. Mm-hmm. And
swim kids.
Yeah, swim kids, aqua tots, because
it's so sad.
It doesn't take very much water.
No. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Or very much time.
Yeah. And kids remember how much fun that water is, and so when they see it, they're all like, "Oh yeah," and it's a shiny penny that they want to go to. And the same thing with oceans. Yeah,
because you don't know what kind of undertows or
what if they had been looking at jellyfish instead of clams.
Mm-hmm. Well, and not only that, but
by the way, jellyfish do wash up on the shore. Ask Beth how she knows.
Yeah. There was something I was watching. I don't know if it was a commercial or if it was a movie or whatever. But this person was. But anyway, this person was like, kind of like walking with their kid into the kid was like. It had a bucket and was getting water, from the ocean. So she wasn't in very far. But I remember thinking, because the father was walking kind of beside her, but not like holding her hand, right? Because she had this little bucket. But I remember thinking that, the thing about the ocean is that even for adults, you walk in a few steps and you can feel the water when the tide goes out, pulling at your feet.
Your legs.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I thought, she's little and just like that kind of pulling motion is enough to knock a kid off their pins, and
even when you go to like the wave pool or something.
So we went to San Diego back when the kids were like 8 and let's see, would have been 8 and 11-ish, and Eli loves the ocean, and we were in San Diego in a like a bay that was very calm. The water was basically still in that area, and they were playing on the beach, and I was filming. Mark and Eli were both in the water, and Eli was bouncing like chest high, kind of bouncing in the water, kind of backwards like this, and I'm filming. I have this film still. I'm filming like this, and all of a sudden the film goes, so I'm filming, and he's bouncing, and he disappears. and then the film goes off because I stopped filming, unlike people who still film their children. I mean, that's a whole nother discussion. But fortunately, Mark was right there, and what happened was he was bouncing, and he fell off a shelf. You know how the land will just go like this and then just dip.
Mm-hmm. That's how my former husband's brother drowned.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He fell off a shelf in Rio Grande.
The water took him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, fortunately, the water was still, and Mark was
right there,
2 steps away.
Yeah.
So he went and grabbed him, pulled him up, and Eli could swim at that point. But still, it's just like
it's very
it's so scary to watch that film because he literally just disappears.
So Beth may remember this, but when in dating myself here, 1976.
Maybe you were around in 1776.
I just remember
We only
that
lived
it was
200 years old.
was that the bicentennial
Yeah.
Yes.
big thing,
Uh-huh.
and our band went to our high school band went to California to march in the parade at Disneyland, and we also went to SeaWorld and something. But during that whole thing, we also all as a band went to the beach. Now we were high school kids, and you can't tell in this, but I am quite a bit shorter than these two, and even more so than my friends. And at that time, I weighed maybe 100 pounds. I was little, okay? And they had to keep their eyes and hands on me, my friends, because the water would just sweep me off my feet. And if they had not been there, I'd have been taken out into, and it doesn't take a whole lot. I didn't fall off a shelf or anything, but I can tell you, I was not on my feet the whole time because it kept pulling me off my feet.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm sorry. I am so passionate about watch your kids around water.
Yeah.
It is one of the things my son's swim team really stressed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when he was 6 or so, we were on a swim team in Albuquerque. He was, I wasn't. By age 6, he could swim circles around me. No problems. But I never took him to a pool where I didn't get in. Okay. But he was on a swim team, and I would sit on the side and talk with other parents. And one of the other parents told me, she said, we almost weren't here because my son almost drowned. And I was ready to hang up the goggles and say no more. And he was a teenager, and they had been practicing no breathers, which is swimming all the way across the pool without breathing, and he really, really wanted to do that. She didn't know that that's what he was practicing during swim team. But she had 2 very young children, so they all went to the swimming pool later that day. And she didn't worry about him around water because he swam very, very well, and he was a teenager. He could just stand up. None of the water was deep enough to, worry about. But she heard one of those whistles that they blow when there's a problem, the lifeguards. And the lifeguards at that particular pool are fantastic, okay? You don't always find that at public pools, but these guys, right on the ball. She said she heard them whistling for everybody to get out of the water, and she couldn't see her teenage son, but she didn't worry about it because he was a teenager. She figured he was with his friends, and she had the younger ones, and she's just watching what's going on. And she said, I told my kids, look, they're taking a man out of the water. And then it dawned on her that it was her son. And he had to be life flighted into Albuquerque. We lived in a suburb of Albuquerque. But just so happens that I was working at a call center.
Well, what happened? Why did it happen?
I'm going to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Just so happened that
I forgot it was story time. I'm sorry.
that I worked at a call center, and the girl that was in the chair behind me, because we would turn around and talk if there was nobody calling, she said that she had to pull a guy out of the water and she wasn't sure she could continue being a lifeguard. She said that
and it was
she
that
pulled
kid?
him out. It was that kid. She pulled him out, and his head flopped over like this.
man.
Well, he was unconscious, right?
Right.
She thought he was dead.
Oh, man.
And it was freaking her out. Because she thought, you know, I'm just there to keep people safe. Nobody's going to die, right? And at the hospital, she was like sure that she was never, ever, ever going to be able to go back. And I remember her saying, he has asthma. Kids with asthma shouldn't be allowed in a pool. I said, no. Kids with asthma need to be in the water and learn how to swim correctly because it teaches you to control your breathing. Anyway, the mother met her son at the hospital, and when he was revived, he woke up and they said, you passed out in the pool. And he goes, oh man, I almost made it. Because he was trying to practice a no breather. And the lifeguards didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
The mother didn't know what he was doing. There was nobody there watching that, knowing that he was trying to hold his breath all the way across the pool. And he said, no, Mom, it's my fault. I just want to go back. He was passionate about swimming. And so there she was at the pool.
Yeah.
And the coach made an announcement. He said, we almost lost one of our swimmers yesterday. He goes, you do not practice anything here at free swim that you practice here because nobody knows what you're doing. You know, it's different practicing a stroke or something that doesn't make you sink underwater. But it would have easily ended so much worse. Yeah. If that lifeguard hadn't been on the ball and noticed that he sunk to the bottom of the pool, if she hadn't gotten him out so quickly, if they hadn't been able to life flight him so quickly into the hospital, because in that area at that time there were not a lot of
trauma centers
or hospitals that could deal with that kind of thing. And this was somebody who knew how to swim and knew how to swim well.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm actually shaking right now thinking about it because I remember how scared I was when she was telling me, you know, what had happened. And it could easily have been any of our kids. By the way, my son could do a no breather across the pool when he was about 7. Yeah. So, and you know how old he was before I let him go to a pool by himself without me?
Never.
Still haven't. When he was in the Navy.
Yeah.
But then there was Navy guys, you know. It's just, you shouldn't swim alone. And your kids should always be watched.
Yeah.
And the reason I say you shouldn't swim alone, and I know a lot of people do, but you never know what's going to happen.
Right. When you're going to conk your head accidentally.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised at how often conking the head happens. You know, when you told me about Eli and the bike, I immediately thought back to when Robert slammed his knee on the bottom of the pool.
Yeah.
And he couldn't walk, and I had to drive into the pool area he was, I don't know, 8. I had to drive into the pool area, and they helped him into the car, and I wanted to take him to the ER right away. And he said, Mom, I'm freezing, and I'm hungry. I do not want to go to the ER right now. So I took him to the doctor the next day, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. And then he's hobbling around instead of using his crutches a day or two later. And I heard a loud crack. It was loud enough that I could hear in a different room. Ew. And I went running in there, and he goes, look, Mom, I can walk now. Yeah.
I have a tendon in my knee that, like, when it gets, like, after, I guess it was after because also this weekend, my knee was hurting, and it's like the side, like, example in my elbow, it's like on the side right here, and I get this ache, and it aches and it aches, and then it starts to feel like this little pulling, and so I start walking weird and like stretch my leg when I walk, and I like stretch it out and stretch it out and stretch it out, and all of a sudden it'll go gunk, and then it'll be fine. It's probably really bad, but one of my colleagues at work has her roommate. She's young. I mean, she's in her 30s, I guess. But she said that she would stand and kind of twist her leg like that, and to pop her knee, like because it felt weird or whatever. And she'd be standing and then twist her knee, like you can like twist and pop it. And she'd been doing that for years. And so when they finally, so she wound up having to have arthroscopic knee surgery, and they're like, you have the knees of like an 80-year-old, because she'd been damaging it that way. And I was like, ooh.
I had a friend, I was telling you, I don't remember how it came up, but I was telling her how, talking about how I had a friend in high school, and when I was, I think going to be a junior, I guess, because you were still at school when we did No No Nanette.
Yes.
Right? And so the summer before we were going to do this production, No No Nanette is, for those of you who may be too young to know, is a musical set in the 20s, right? So there's flappers and dancing, stuff like that. And so as we were preparing to do this musical, people were they were having some practice dancing things, so these kids could learn how to do these dances. And so Julia, my friend Julia, was supposed to be among these dancers, and one of the things they were practicing was doing like a, what do they call it? A dip, for the girl leans back or whatever, and the guy, dips her down or whatever. And so somehow in doing this, she hurt her knee like gave out, and it was her kneecap that was, your kneecap is supposed to be in the front of your knee, but her kneecap was like on the side of her knee. Yeah. And so she had to go, to the ER or whatever. And they said, yeah, it had something to do with her anatomy, I guess, something about her knees. And they said, yeah, that's probably gonna happen to your other knee too. And so she was like out of the production. She was not dancing. That was the one where that saxophone player next to me got the shoe in the forehead. Clonked by a shoe. It was the best part of the musical. Yeah.
Dad told me a story that when he was in the service, they went to a movie, and he was in the middle of the row with a whole bunch of GIs, or a movie show, something. I don't know if it was in Germany or here,
I think
where it was, but as he went to sit down at the beginning of the show, I guess, his knee hit part of the seat in front of him and shoved his kneecap up above his knee. And he was freaking out in pain, and he, I guess, shoved it back or something. Shoved it back down, but it kept popping up then after that. And so his buddies, he said, they had to haul him out down the aisle, and then the doctor was like, oh, we'll just tape it. And he's like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And some doctor told him, or some medic or something, said, we'll just tape it. And Dad said, it's not going to work. And they taped it, and it went up inside the tape, so he couldn't shove it back. So then he finally saw a different doctor, and I don't know what that second doctor was like. That's stupid, and he did something, I don't know what. So, but I'm like, I can't even listen to that story, like, and imagine that.
So, I hurt myself with alarming regularity, and when I was in Florida, I was working on wiring artificial flowers to a hat, and I had a shag rug. Again, dating myself. I had a shag rug in my apartment, and I had clipped a piece of wire. I was sitting on the floor.
Floral wire. Really tiny floral wire.
No, it wasn't tiny, but yeah. I had clipped a piece of floral wire about this long in order to wire the flower on, but I dropped it. And so I looked down for it, and I moved my right leg backwards. And I heard a popping sound, and I looked, and there was this much wire sticking out. Okay,
Up your ankle.
Yeah, about that far up my ankle, above the actual heel.
Not the ankle, the back of your
Right.
leg.
Yes.
So, I immediately tried to pull it out, and decided that was a very bad idea. So I tried to stand up, and again, not going to happen. I crawled to the phone and called my friend, and she said that all she understood about what I was saying was hospital and wire. And I remember crawling to my bedroom and changing my pants because I was wearing my work pants. And I knew I was going to have to crawl out to the parking lot, and I was not going to destroy my pants. I had to change into something that I didn't care crawling in a parking lot with. So we get to the hospital, and a guy that was not a doctor, just some kind of tech guy, brought a wheelchair out for me because Jan had gone in and requested it. And I got into the wheelchair, and he saw it. He goes, "Oh, that's not that bad." And he leaned over and tried to pull it out. And I screamed at him. And then I said, "You idiot. Don't you think I tried that at home?" Okay, so I'm in the ER in absolute and utter pain if I tried to move my foot at all. And they took x-rays, and they talked, and they talked, and they talked, and finally they gave me some kind of pain medicine. I don't remember what, but it was barely taking the edge off. And she came in and she said, "Well, we're going to try to pull it out. I know it's very painful, but we're going to try to pull it out. If we cannot do that, because the x-rays showed that it was right up against the bone," I said, "if we can't do that, then it's going to have to go to surgery to take it out." She said, "But we'll give you some numbing injections around there to
hurt it worse, so that you won't notice."
Yeah. And it reminded me a lot about when you go to the dentist and they start injecting your mouth so they can do work. And I'm like, I don't know which is going to hurt worse, And
when they inject the roof of your mouth.
Yeah, and then they just pulled it out. Fortunately, it came right out. And while I felt the needle, the needles of the medicine intensely, I didn't feel them pulling it out, so I was happy. But I still remember that guy. He wasn't even a doctor or anything. He just, "Oh, that's not that bad." Like, "I'm sorry, did I give you permission to touch me?" "No, I did not."
Oh my gosh. Oh, so I remember I told you last week I wanted to make a shawl for Hannah's best friend's mom.
Yeah.
I sent her some pictures of some yarn, and she's like, "I think that's too colorful." Like, she probably wouldn't like too loud. So I showed her the one that I made. I'll put a picture here. It's a shawl called One and Done, and it's designed by Casapinka to use up your one pretty skein that you don't know what to do with it. And the one I made was in this colorway called Broken Dishes. It's like mostly gray with little flecks of color. And so I sent that to her, and she's like, "Yeah, that's perfect." So I just got permission from the committee to go look for some yarn today to find a similar color scheme of like a muted but pretty coloring yarn. So I'm gonna go do that right now.
I saw a meme. I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but this person like going on vacation, and they said, "I don't know if I have enough yarn or something like that," and they they pull up they have one of those on top of the car little
Yeah.
cargo things, and they open it up and it's like stuffed with all this skeins
Like
of yarn.
a Thule box.
Yeah.
A Thule roof box. No,
my
I know.
gosh.
You have to plan. But Hannah just said she was going to go teach one of her friends to knit, and she sent me a little video I haven't watched yet, but then a picture of her sitting by some water knitting. That's her blue that she bought for a tank top. But yeah, I guess she taught her friend to knit.
I was watching
watch it.
some Flosstube video of this person said something about, oh, my friend doesn't knit, doesn't cross stitch. Well, I should say she does cross stitch because I guess she went on some vacation or something with this friend, and the friend didn't cross stitch, but she was stopping to say hi to some of her other friends or something like that, and then her friend's like, I want to do that.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I was going to
That's
tell
how I
you?
learned to cross stitch.
That's how I learned
No,
cross
well,
stitch.
technically, I kept getting cross. I worked in a craft store and I ordered this kind of stuff, but these cross stitch patterns for the store. And I was like, those are so cool. I want to be able to do that. And one of the ladies there said, I'll teach you how to do it. And then Beth and Naomi saw me doing it. Well, Beth saw me doing it and I taught Beth. And then Naomi saw Beth.
I saw it was the other way around.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Naomi went down to stay to
And I
visit for
got
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And she got started. And then when you guys came home for Christmas, you were both had patterns and you're working on. I'm like, I want to do that.
You know what I've been thinking? Just like even this morning, I've been thinking it for a long time. And I don't know why. I feel like I'm cheating on y'all or something, but I kind of really want to put my hand to embroidery. Like, I watch a lot of YouTube shorts.
Regular embroidery?
Of actual embroidery.
I love embroidery.
And I'm like, that kind of floats my boat. Like, all the flowers and like drawing it yourself and doing it and all the different kinds of stitches you can do. So,
oh yeah.
I'm thinking about kind of making a little foray.
Just
into that.
don't.
I don't know why.
Just don't stitch it to your skirt.
Your skirt. No, I know. I don't know why it floats my boat so much more than cross stitch. I mean, I like cross stitch.
The
and
different
I've it.
stitches. They're
But I
beautiful.
think the different stitches, and then it feels faster. It probably is faster, don't you think? I don't know.
Maybe.
Yes and no.
Maybe. Just depends. But I mean, like, I really dig it, like, how they like embellish jeans or tennis shoes and different things like that. But I also just like
Well, when I was working on those,
it's really cool.
Those little
I don't
dish
know.
towel things that I made for you for Christmas.
Yeah.
One of the issues, I guess, and I wasn't sure because in cross stitch, of course, you don't knot the threads on the back of what you're doing. Right? You stick the thread underneath existing stitches or whatever. You stitch over it to anchor the thread. And so you don't have knots in the back. Well, for Christmas, I embroidered some hand towels, and so one of the things I had an issue with was starting the thread because I thought, well, because I think on the instructions, or I don't know if I watched some video about it, because I don't really do embroidery much now, and so I wanted to make sure I was doing it right or whatever, and so I think it was there that they were talking about, that some people make knots and some people don't, or just it's one of those questions, and so I think in the end I didn't do knots, but I took the thread under, but I kind of had the issue of because I was like doing like a line, an outline, and it's not really tight enough, like a cross stitch, you can thread underneath the stitches at like the end of thread or whatever, and the stitches are kind of tight enough to hold the thread there, so it doesn't come out. And but you know, if you handled it enough, I guess, if your thread wasn't long enough, or you anchored it, you could theoretically pull the thread out.
Well, that's why you put
But-
knots.
Yeah. So in embroidery, that's yeah. So I guess that's a question about whether you knot the thread or not.
So I saw this Winnie the Pooh. I guess it was panels from a Winnie the Pooh cartoon of, I guess, Pooh and Rabbit were stuck in a hole, and there were these pieces of rope up there, and they were telling Piglet, you need to knot those two pieces together. And Piglet says, I cannot. And like, oh, you can. Okay, so you can tie this in a knot. And he's like, I cannot knot. And then like it's this whole thing. It was like the who's on first of the word N-O-T and K-N-O-T and N-A-U-G-H-T. Like, it was so funny. Oh my gosh, it was
like
hysterical.
In the what is it in that movie Galaxy Quest when Alan Rickman, he goes, miners, not miners. And the guy goes, I don't get it.
I told Hannah about that movie. I'm like, have you ever watched that? She's like, no. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're a Star Trek nerd. You need to watch Galaxy
Yes.
Quest. It is so funny. And when I told her
It's one of my favorites.
Sigourney Weaver was in it, she was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And Sam Rockwell.
One of the things I've
yeah.
been doing a lot lately is this first time watching things on
Oh, dang
videos
it.
on
Dang
YouTube. And so, you know, it's all movies that I've seen 1,000 times, but it's hilarious watching somebody watch it for the first time. But Galaxy Quest is one of those that I've seen several times, and people going, oh my God, that's so funny. You know, and a lot of them are, some of them are like, you know, science fiction nerds, I guess, who've been to science fiction conventions and things like that, Star Trek conventions or whatever, Comic-Con, whatever. Because part of the story takes place there, and so that you're familiar with, you know, the kind of people that go to those kind of conventions and things like that, and that's part of what it's making fun of. But if you've seen Star Trek at all, the original series especially,
It's so funny.
It makes
a
it
huge
funnier,
parody,
yeah. And so yeah,
I told her she had to watch it, and she's like, okay, I will.
Yeah.
I need to remind her.
So
Yeah.
I watched one of those first time listening
Yeah.
things. Just came across it. And the only reason I watched it is because I really, really like the song. And that's, but this was, I think it was sung by soldiers, but it's, I'm proud to be an American.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So I'm watching this video and I'm crying. The people that were watching it were UK people. So of course they were not. But the reason I was crying was because that song came out when I was in Belgium, and the first time I heard it, I was in one of the... My brain is leaving me right now. Where you go in to socialize with other officers. Not officers.
like Officers Club or whatever.
Not officers, but, you know.
Yeah.
And they were playing that, and I was like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
That song. And I think it just meant more to me because
you weren't
of
here.
where I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I heard that song and I was like, oh.
What did they think of it?
Oh, they loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw one with these two young teenager-ish guys listening to Dolly Parton Jolene the first time. They were like, oh my God, this is a cool song.
I saw one where a guy who, I guess he primarily listens to like hip hop and things like that, and so somebody had recommended that he watch a video of The Piano Man by Billy Joel, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, I don't even know who this is, blah blah blah, and so he's like, oh my gosh, it's so good, and he was like, you know, kept interrupting the song, talking about how good it was. And so I guess he he's like looking up Billy Joel to see what other songs he had done, or, you know, who he was, and what, you know, it's like, oh my God.
No, I know.
Because The Piano Man was like so long ago. If you look at the video too, you know,
Do you know how many children I worked with that when I said, Paul Simon's going to be at Hannah's graduation, they were like, who?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
And
So then I started saying, tell me you children know who Paul Simon is.
and so he was like looking at it going, and I think there were a couple of songs, Uptown Girl and some other song that I guess he heard when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Because his dad used to listen to them, and his dad was in the army, I think, and in Germany. And so he had, he was familiar with a couple of them, but he didn't know that it was Billy Joel.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh my God. And so, so I'm like, yeah, it's amazing how, generationally or whatever.
Yeah. And it depends on too, like,
yeah.
I did a really great job of educating my children in the likes of Billy Joel, Paul Simon, like the Beatles. Like Hannah was like, I was listening to Rubber Soul all day yesterday. And I'm like, my work here is done. So, but,
it's amazing to me, like even like with the movies and stuff, like watching these first time watching, there's this one girl whose channel I really like, but she's like, I think she saw Tootsie for the first time.
I love that
and I love that, and that's the one that I remember that I was talking to a coworker of mine.
Yeah.
And he was like, I wasn't even born then. I'm like, oh my God. Don't say that.
Well, I have a date with the yarn
old.
shop, so
Yes.
I'm going to go.
Yeah, so we've been talking for a long time. So, yeah.
And I'm just measuring how much I've done. I am almost to 2 inches. I have to do 5 inches.
I saw you making a face. Did you make a mistake?
I did half a row wrong, but I fixed it. But my iPad died, and I tried. You probably saw me struggling. I have a battery. It's a little mini Jackery battery, and I don't know if it's the cord. I assume it's not the battery. I assume it's the cord and not one of these jacks. But it would not charge my iPad. I'm very mad. So it's dead. So that means I have to go. I always say if my electronics die, it's God telling me to go to bed. No, I'll just find a battery. But here is the sweater. This is the front. So cute.
Very cute.
I have to. She told me the last sweater I made. I need to put a little, like, with a different color yarn, like do some duplicate stitch, like a label. She's like, so I can tell which way it's supposed to go. All right. Thank you so much for joining us again. Welcome to all our new subscribers. Make sure you press that bell icon so you see when we post a new episode. But we nearly almost always, unless I have some kind of disastrous problem overnight on a Saturday night, we nearly almost always come out Sunday morning, 5 a.m. Arizona time. So we will see you next week for sure. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.